Hello everybody! Beside us is our all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4 that we recently purchased. Now sales figures indicate that many of you guys are going to be interested in buying one of these all-new RAV4s in the coming year, which is exactly why we're making this video.
Now we have a lot to share, but in this video we're specifically going to be talking about the 5 things that you need to know before you consider buying one of these all-new RAV4s. Let's go ahead and get to it.
So let's get started with the first thing you need to know, and that would be which trim level should you pick? The RAV4 is available in a lot of trim levels, 7 distinct trim levels to be exact. And those are kind of broken into 3 categories: your core trims, your sport trims, and your off-road trim. So know what you're going to use this RAV4 for. If you want that aggressive design, you need to choose things like the XSE, which will be a little bit sportier overall, as opposed to the XLE that you see here, which is going to be one of your core trim levels with a more basic overall design. Now, some of the key features with the front are going to be your headlights. Every single RAV4 will come with projector full LED headlights. However, you get a fancier arrangement on your loaded models. Also, if you want fog lights, you're only going to get those on the off-road focused Woodland or the Limited trim. Now, of course, you don't want to pay extra for things that don't matter to you, and one of those things might be the wheels. Many people value having super stylish wheels. You can get large 20-inch alloys on the RAV4 for your upper end examples, or you can often just stick with one of these smaller wheel options, such as this 18-inch gray alloy you see here on the XLE. You can even get a 18-inch alloy on the Limited as the standard wheel option if you prefer that good ride quality. Now, as we come up here to our mirrors, one of the big key features here will be blind spot monitoring, and I'm happy to say that is standard equipment on every single model for 2026.
Now, a lot of people these days are very concerned about safety systems, and going along with that blind spot monitoring, you actually get every single active safety feature standard on every RAV4. So no, you don't have to go for the fully loaded examples to get things like adaptive cruise control. I really like that. Now, I do want to point out for tow capacity, it's 1,750 pounds if you choose front wheel drive, or 3,500 pounds if you choose all wheel drive. So if you're going to be towing a lot, I think it's important to select the all wheel drive option. But probably even more so than on the outside, you're concerned about what features you get on the inside. And one of the things that I want to point out is that Smart Entry is standard equipment on every RAV4 this year, so you can just reach behind the door handle and that will unlock it. And let's take a look at the interior. As you can see, we have a fully new design, and we'll talk about some of those individual details, but I want to hit the main features that you might be looking for if you're looking to buy a RAV4. When it comes to the seating materials, that's a big difference between the trim levels. On your basic end, so the LE and SE, you're going to have a cloth insert, so if you want a full leatherette seat like this one, you will have to go to at least the middle trim levels to get that. Now, one thing you won't have to go to the middle trim to get is this 8-way power seat. That's actually standard equipment on every single RAV4. I'm pretty happy to see that. That's newly standard to the RAV4 this year. And as far as seat heating, that's included on SE trims and above. Seat ventilation is XSE trims and above.
Now, as we continue to figure out which trim level offers the most value, we've got a few more things to talk about. One of those things is how much do you value the audio quality? You can get a JBL sound system, but most of the models will just come with a standard sound system, which is what we have on this model. Sound quality is decent. Now, you also have some tech improvements. So you got the digital gauge cluster on board. You also have 2 different screens, which are both larger for this new generation. This is the 10-inch display. You can also get a 12.5-inch display if you prefer that on your top examples. You will have a standard backup camera on all models. As you can see, you've got the active trajectory system on board, and then a 360 camera is going to be something on your top trim levels. A lot of people have also been surprised that our XLE Premium does not have a moonroof. That's because a standard size sunroof is standard only on the XSE trim level and above, and then a panoramic sunroof is standard on just the Limited trim.
So now that it's all said and done, what trim is the best value in our professional opinions? Well, I'm going to have to say, if you're looking to shop more on the basic end, that would, I think, be the SE trim level. That starts at $34,700, so it's really not a huge huge upgrade in terms of pricing as compared to the base LE model, and you are going to get a lot spicier of a design as well as a couple more features as well. Now, if you're looking to buy on the middle end of the spectrum, say $40-ish thousand, I'd recommend actually not getting this XLE Premium and get the XSE trim level with no options on it. The reason I say that is because it actually has standard all-wheel drive, it has a standard regular size moonroof, and things like ventilated seats. So you're getting a lot of equipment standard on that XSE model, and it's going to ring in at $41,300 as a base price. So it's barely more expensive than this XLE after you add in things like all-wheel drive. If you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from sound level readings to cargo measurements, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. Now, the second big thing you need to know about this RAV4 is that it is now hybrid exclusive. So all of them will have the 5th generation Toyota hybrid system. This is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with your electric componentry, making either 226 horsepower with front wheel drive or 236 horsepower with all-wheel drive. Now this, of course, is very important because it has profound implications. It means that you will get really good fuel economy no matter what trim level you choose, which is a very critical thing. You can be up to 44 miles per gallon combined with the most efficient version, the LE front wheel drive model. Now, of course, if you're concerned about having a hybrid over the long term, it is warranted for 8 years, but you do have that lack of choice that some of the competition does offer.
Now, moving along, the third thing that you need to know before buying is how practical this RAV4 is and if it fits your family's needs. Now, one of the good things about this RAV4 is that it's always been a pretty practical choice, and that is going to continue. So I'll go ahead and open up the cargo area so you can take a look at what that is. It's a little over 70 cubic feet as a maximum cargo capacity figure for this new generation of RAV4. That does mean it's not exactly the class leader when it comes to overall cargo capacity, but it is going to be a very practical choice for most families. 70 cubic feet is definitely a lot of space. It should be enough that you could fit everyone here in the back and also all of their luggage on family road trips and things like that. And speaking of the rear seats, let's go take a look. As you can see, I'm 5'9", and this seat is slid most of the way back. I still have plenty of room, so like I said, you could easily fit adults back here. I also have installed a car seat in this model as well, and that fits perfectly fine for those of you that have families. But of course, keep in mind, if you're a huge family and really have larger kids, you might want a bigger SUV such as the Toyota Grand Highlander.
Now, the fourth thing is technology upgrades. Of course, people want good tech inside their cars because you have to deal with that every single day. And honestly, the previous generation of the RAV4 kind of fell short in this regard. There was definitely some glitches and things with the overall technology experience. So if you're coming from the previous RAV4 to this, I think you're going to be happy with the improvement. So we have a brand new infotainment system. This is Toyota's latest and greatest system. It has a new home screen. It has much faster overall performance. You have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both of which work with a lot less glitches than before and pair in a much more seamless way. Now, you do have 2 different screen sizes, as I mentioned earlier, so you can get a larger screen than this on some of your upper end examples. And then the enhancements actually go into the gauge cluster as well. So over here, you've got a lot more designs you can choose from. And you also have a new map display, which is my personal favorite, which can actually show a map kind of covering across the entire gauge cluster. Again, if you want these improvements, they are not coming to the previous generation RAV4 or any of the older Toyotas, so you've got to get this new model.
And the fifth and final thing that you need to know before buying these RAV4s is your numbers. Now, what I mean by that is just how much you're going to pay for one of these RAV4s. Now, there has been a lot of pent-up demand because this new generation of RAV4 was actually kind of delayed when it was supposed to be coming out. It was supposed to be December of last year, and we picked up one of the first ones in the U.S. in March of this year. So, yes, there's a little bit of a delay there, which means that there's a lot of people that are still looking to buy this new RAV4, so you might have to wait around a little bit, but I would say practice patience and don't pay over MSRP. Toyota will literally be building millions of these RAV4s, so I would not ever recommend paying above MSRP for one of these or any of the dealer markups or anything like that, because of course this is going to be a pretty common vehicle and you should be able to find one at MSRP. For instance, when we bought this car from Toyota South in Richmond, Kentucky, we paid exactly MSRP, nothing more, nothing less. And there you go. There's the 5 things that you need to know before buying this all-new Toyota RAV4. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, if you're looking to buy one, we'd appreciate you subscribing down below. And also, if you're looking to buy one, we'd encourage you to check out carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use if you plan on doing dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of all that, as well as things like our monthly payment calculator, you can find that on our website, carconfections.com/newcarquotes. And guys, if you're new to the channel and haven't watched any of our previous videos, we'd really encourage you to subscribe down below as well, because we own this 2026 Toyota RAV4. We have a ton of content, so if you're at all interested in this model, definitely subscribe, because I promise you won't regret it. And if you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. You make this all possible. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.